Picture this. A recruiter has two resumes on the screen. On one side, a fresher, maybe non-computer science, good marks, a few ML projects from YouTube tutorials, and on the other side, someone with 1 year of real AI ML experience. Who do you think they will call first? So today we are going to change that answer. Not by faking experience, not by doing 100 days of machine learning for Instagram, but by building the exact skills that make you look and behave like a 0 to 1 year experienced ML engineer, even before you get your first job. And this is not from my personal experience only. I have gone through LinkedIn posts from AI hiring managers, Reddit threads from senior ML engineers, recruiter discussions, and I am giving you the crux of all that research in this one video. Multiple hiring managers and recruiters keep repeating the same thing, that freshers who look like mini 1 year experienced developers do three things better. They ship, they explain, and they own what they build. So that when a company has to choose, they can confidently pick the fresher, that is you, over someone who already has a year or 0 to 1 year of experience. Hello everyone, this is Akash Gupta, and on this channel I demystify the real gap between academics and AI industry. So stay till the end because I will tell you the skills you need to have in addition to the mainstream skills, how to practice these skills, my personal experiences during my ML internship and projects, how to join my Telegram group, and how my Python course can help if you are from non-CS or scared of coding. So let us set the target correctly. So what is your main fear? Your main fear is not, will I be able to do tasks in the company? Your main fear is, will they even give me a chance when I have zero experience and others have 0 to 1 year of experience? This video is not a roadmap. I'm assuming that you already watched the tutorials on machine learning, deep learning, LLMs, LangChain, and all these mainstream skills. This video will give you an extra edge which will enable you to compete against the 0 to 1 years of experience ML engineers. How do you, without any job, become equivalent to someone with experienced ML engineer in the eyes of a recruiter, a hiring manager, and a senior engineer? In this video, I will tell you the technical skills and soft skills you must have in addition to mainstream skills, which give you an edge in interviews against experienced professionals. So let us start with the first tech skill, that is Git. Git is a language of teams. As a student, Git feels optional. Notebook is working on my laptop, so why should I care? In companies, this thinking dies on day one. In my ML internship, first thing my mentor told me was that here is the Git repo, clone it, create a branch, and open a pull request once you are done. Nobody set me down to explain what Git is. They assumed I already knew about it. Why? Because real work is done by teams, not by one smart coder in companies. Imagine a team of 5 ML engineers. One is changing feature engineering, one is updating the model, one is adding monitoring, and one is fixing a bug in pre-processing. Now, what will happen without Git? That people will send zip files on WhatsApp or email, code keeps getting overwritten, nobody knows which version is in production, and if something breaks, you cannot roll back safely. And with Git, everyone works on their own branch, every change has a clear commit message. Seniors can read your pull request, comment, and ask for changes. You can always go back to a previous stable version. Hiring managers literally call this level 1 behavior. In most teams, Git is not optional. It is the language of collaboration. Some recruiters even say that everyday Git use with branches and a PR, pull request style workflow visible in your GitHub history is a strong signal you can plug into a real team from day one. So from a company's point of view, a fresher who does not know Git is risk. A fresher who uses Git like a 1 year experienced ML engineer, that is safe to add to the team. That is why even with zero experience, your GitHub should show multiple repos with sensible commit history. That alone makes you feel much closer to a working engineer. Now, let us talk about the second tech skill, that is industrial coding habits. Most student projects consist of one giant notebook, hard-coded paths, API keys straight in the code, variable names like df1, df2, which is beyond understanding or very confusing. Now imagine a hiring manager opens your repo versus a 1 year experienced ML engineer's repo. So you can see on the screen that how the repos will look like. For option A, for a typical student, And for option B, that is your experienced ML engineer. So you can create that professional feeling without having a job in your GitHub repo. Habits that give you that 0 to 1 year experience vibe. That is, you have to use the virtual environments in your code always. Then use requirements.txt file in your code. That includes all libraries you are using in your code. Then use .env file for secrets like API keys and other credentials instead of hard coding them. Then a clear folder structure for your whole code base. Then a basic README file that includes what this project is all about, how to run it, dependencies, etc. Several hiring managers have openly said they reject ML only candidates who cannot write robust, readable, and testable code. They are not just hiring someone who knows a few algorithms. They want someone whose code can actually live in code base. In Reddit discussions, senior ML engineers keep repeating clean, modular Python, not 500-line notebook scripts, plus basic testing and logging. That is what makes a fresher look like a junior engineer, not just a student. So in this case, you still have zero experience on paper. But when a senior engineer opens that repo, they think, I can plug this person into our code base. They won't break everything. If you want a deep dive video into this, check my video 6 coding habits for industrial work after this one, where I have broken down all of these with examples. Next tech skill is fast API, that is turning models into services. This is where 90% of freshers lose to 1 year experienced engineers. Students stop at I trained a great model in my notebook. That is it. Companies care about, can someone call this model from our app? That is where fast API comes in. I have seen students running away from this fast API skill, but you need to learn it if you want to compete with experienced ML engineer or professionals in AI industry and get a higher salary. If you want me to make a video on fast API learning, put it in the comment section or you can message me on the LinkedIn. I will be able to make it when there is enough demand for it. Now let me give you an example to explain why fast API is important in industry. Suppose you build a sentiment model. In your notebook, you do to run this model or to get the prediction from the model, you do prediction is equal to model.predict and then any review, like anything, like suppose you are putting a text like I love this product. Okay, so now that is cool for you, right? You can easily get the prediction from the model. But now think like company. The mobile app wants to show the same result or the same sentiment in real time. The dashboard team wants to call your model for reports. They can't open your notebook and then get the output. So in that case, fast API will come to the rescue. If you wrap it or if you wrap your code in fast API, you create an endpoint or route which is hit by the front end and your model gives output which will be visible to the user. Suddenly your college project becomes something where any other services can be integrated. Now the next tech skill is deployment mindset. That includes the tools like Docker, MLflow, Railway or Render. Next, the jump from working on my machine to working anywhere. That is the core or that is the crux of deployment. When you are alone or when you are alone working on a project, it is fine if code only runs on your laptop. But in a company, that is a disaster. If an app is working on your computer, but when you send it to some other team member and it doesn't work there, then you will keep saying, bro, it works on my machine. I don't know about yours, but nobody will listen to you. Nothing will work except Docker to solve this issue. Docker builds a container for your app with all requirements your app needs to run and says this container has everything the code needs: operating system, Python version, packages. If it works here, it will work on server too. Then now you can combine that system with another tool called MLflow, where you track which model version is deployed. You log experiments, parameters, and metrics, and you can roll back if new version performs worse. And after all these things, then you can use the platforms like Railway or Render to deploy your system. They let you take your Dockerized Fast API app and deploy it within a few clicks. And you can share a public URL to test your model with the recruiter. Next tech skill is runtime and performance awareness. As a student, if your model takes 20 seconds to run, you think, okay, that is fine, right? That will work for you. But for company in production, that is unacceptable. That is where the user will break down. That is where a user who is using the app that will break down. For example, you build a chatbot using an LLM. On your laptop, each response takes 15 seconds, but for a user, 15 seconds is totally worthless. Now, if there is an engineer with 0 to 1 year of experience, then he will ask, can we use a smaller model? Can we batch requests to solve this issue? Can we cache common questions? Do we need GPU or is the CPU enough? If in your projects, if you are able to answer these questions, or if you are even able to ask these questions, then you show that you measured latency, you thought about throughput, you tried sample optimization. When I deployed my first gen AI finance app, then I worked hard to bring down latency, optimize GPU and CPU use in inference and training, etc. This is the kind of thinking senior ML folks talk about online, reasoning about constraints like latency, cost, and data size, and how that affects your model choice. Now, next is, let us start the soft skills. The soft skills one is you need to turn business problem into tech problems. Now, these soft skills are huge differentiators. A lot of freshers wait for the company to give them a ticket and then tell them exactly what to code. But if I talk about a experience or 1 year experience ML engineer who can take a vague sentence from a manager and convert it into a clear technical problem. For example, if manager says that our support team is overwhelmed with a lot of emails from the customers, they cannot keep up. Now, if there's a student, then what will be the reaction? It could be that a student might say that, okay, maybe it could be an NLP problem, or maybe a machine learning model might work here. But an engineer or an experienced engineer will react like this. He will ask, can we first categorize the types of emails? Maybe we can build a classifier to auto route emails to billing, tech, or feedback, etc. Or we can also use summarization so agents see a short summary. We can also use a FAQ style question and answer for repetitive queries. You have turned a fuzzy complaint into a list of ML components. That is what company expects. And if they get the same thing in freshers, of course, they will at least consider the freshers. That ability is pure gold in interviews, because the interviewer thinks if I describe a messy problem, this person won't freeze, they will structure. Now, second soft skill is explain projects clearly. How you explain your work can instantly put you behind or ahead of that experience or 0 to 1 years of experience ML engineer. Bad explanation for any project could be what? That is what most students do. They will say that I used a LSTM model with attention, tried BERT, did grid search for hyperparameters, then tuned learning rate and dropout and got 92% accuracy. Now a non-ML manager hears this and thinks, okay, this person loves buzzwords, but I don't know what they actually did. Now, the better explanation for any other problem could be what? Or better explanation structure should be what? Basically, it should start with the problem, then the approach, then the tech stack, and then the impact, but everything should be in the context of the problem. Your learning, let me take one example. The explanation for any project could be that support agents were spending a lot of time just reading long customer emails. So I built a system that automatically summarizes each email and classifies it into 5 categories like billing, technical issue, feedback. I use Python with Fast API or the API, a pre-trained transformer model for summarization, and deployed it on a small cloud instance. On past data, we saw that it could reduce manual reading time per email by around 40%. Now compare. First version sounds like a college project, and second version sounds like something that could exist in the company today. If you speak like the second version in interviews, you are competing directly with that experience or 0 to 1 year of experience ML engineer in clarity. Recruiters also say that small things you have built and broken and can explain in this structured way carry more weight than a huge stack of certificates. Third soft skill is talking in metrics. Saying my model has 92% accuracy is not enough. Companies care what does that 92% do for us. For example, if I talk about e-commerce recommendation systems, so the weak way to say or to explain this is I built a recommendation system, it is more accurate, or it has got 90% accuracy, suppose. But now the stronger way to explain the same project will be that we tested the new recommendation model on 10,000 users for 2 weeks compared to the previous logic click-through rate on recommended, and that went up by 5%, and add to cart rate improved by 3%. Now you might think that I am a fresher, how will I check all these CTR, click through rate? But you can always get the metrics in the context of the problem at least, and then explain it, that what was the impact of the. So talking in this way show that you can think in business metrics, something hiring managers keep highlighting in their post. So finally, let us tie this together. You cannot magically print 1 year of experience on your resume, but you can learn all these skills and make your profile stand out. Everything I shared here is based on real voices from AI hiring managers, Reddit discussions, and other platforms. I have spent time reading all of that and given you the crux in simple language. Do this well, and in that recruiter's comparison, fresher versus 1 year engineer, you stop being the obvious loser, you become a real option. Companies want juniors who can deliver outcomes, work with people, and handle ambiguity, not just those who know transformers and Gen AI buzzwords. If you, as a fresher, can show end to end ownership, solid coding, deployment, SQL and EDA, exploratory data analysis, and clear communication, you can absolutely compete with and sometimes beat 0 to 1 year of experience candidates. Now, here is what to do next. If this video helped you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with that one friend who has watched 20 ML courses but still does not know how to look like a real engineer. Also, comment below which of these skills are you currently missing. Git deployment, fast API, system design, communication. I will use your comments to decide my next deep dive videos. If you are from a non-CS background or scared of coding, and I understand your problem because I was at the same place earlier. To solve that, I'm working on a Python series for those who are struggling to start with it properly, who are confused about writing basic code for AI ML independently. It is built exactly for you to make you comfortable in Python coding so that you can actually apply all these in your machine learning training skills. Link to join waitlist for that course is given in the description. Check it out. I am also building a community of like-minded people where we can learn from each other. Each other. If you are serious for AI/ML learning, scared of coding, math, stats, etc., or a non-CS student struggling to understand the domain, join Concepts of AI Telegram group. Link for that group is also given in the description. So see you in the next one. Till then, keep learning.